Good morning, everybody. So today we will present you IBP supply within the presentation of DOWUP by Teamwork Solutions step in. So in the next minutes, maybe a couple advice before you've got in the webinar the capacity to answer the polls. There is a polls with a couple of questions. You may also discuss and chat over the chat feature in the webinar. Just feel free asking questions. Vincent, my colleague, will gather those questions and we will answer them at the end of the webinar. I would say for the introductory advice, that's it. So first couple slides to present our company. So okay. So Teamwork company is a company which is 20 years old already, and we are specialized in the SAP ecosystems at full extent. And within this organization, we are, as Daniel here talking to you, we've got a special teams, experts in IBP, and by the past it was APO, now it's IBP. So this group exists since '99. It's 120 million euro and has more than 18 offices over the world. So. And currently, I'm talking to you from Geneva. Within this, the group, within the Teamwork group, there is DOWUP Teamwork, which is the specialist in supply chain planning. Our domain of expertise is IBP. It's also S/4HANA Manufacturing for Planning and Scheduling, which is PPDS, coming from APO. And as well, we've got certifications, and we are happy we're working with our customers on the DDMRP subjects, being either S4 or IBP solution proposed by SAP. At the same time, DOWUP, we do develop a couple add-ons, niche, would say niche solution that covers supply chain planning, expert requirements like inventory balancing and a few other of them. By the way, our company and our group, by the way, is we are all certified from the APICS CPIM, just to offer our customers a level of vocabulary, not only but as well of understanding of supply chain to the full extent. Here are a couple reference from IBP. That we have already gone through. So with watchmaking, for instance, with Breitling watchmaking, Givaudan, which is as well a chemical industry, fragrance and flavor, for instance, automotive, food industry, a number of reference where we have either gone through full project like Breitling, Givaudan, Lindt, and Bouygues, for instance, and for others, so for some others like GSK, we've gone through POC, proof of concept, mini project, to enable our customers to discover IBP whenever they want to dig into this new domain, new solution from SAP. These are reference from specifically IBP and broadly in the supply chain planning reference, because we are active since 2001 in this domain. We've had the chance to work with many of those customers that you see on the screen, more on the APO side, being training, planning, implementation, rollouts, solutions. So these are a couple of them. IBP overview now. A chapter just to let you know that IBP has now been completely replaced APO as a solution for supply chain planning. It's an advanced planning systems, definitely. Okay, and as of today, more than 700 companies are currently running IBP, either running or under project. This is a breakdown of a statistic for about IBP worldwide. So 700 companies, many countries, a lot of users. So it's not anymore like starting history. There is already now 5 years background of IBP and many customers. From IBP perspective, and generally speaking, IBP, the interest, one of the main interests is that you are able to combine together a number of domains like supply, demand, and finance together at any times and for any simulation, and we will see that during the demo. You can really mix together those three domains so that you have real-time answers versus simulation being done in demand, just to check what's the result and supply part and so on. So this is one of the main features of IBP, allowing customers to merge together all the domains without any more, I would say, silos from the solution perspective. One other the second main strength, I would say, compared to the previous APO solution is the real-time what-if scenario planning. That's not anymore like an IT project to set up. Here, the real-time what-if scenario is in the hands of users, and they can create any scenario they like at any time, at any point of time. Just to carry some hypothesis on the business that we have gone through the sheltering periods now, and most of our customer they were really using those capabilities to simulate hypotheses, what if, and so on. Collaboration. Again, IBP has a main strength compared to previous solutions, the capabilities to place into a common, I would say, discussion level collaboration. Every stakeholders of IBP, being internal or external to the company. So via a component which is SAPJAM, which is associated to IBP proposition. Very useful to get to break down the walls of silos. And then with the new solution with IBP, there is absolute difference concerning the user interface, and I hope you will appreciate that in a minute. Okay, from the process perspective, what do we target with IBP? In supply chain planning, it's mostly a matter of those processes which are currently displayed, with a business planning at the top, which is a financial one, okay, but that's the starting point of supply chain planning. Then from this business planning perspective, then there is an SNOP, which is a rolling budget, a rolling business planning, a monthly rolling one, that is available in IBP. Okay, that's a process which is covered by IBP. At the same time, from the more detailed level, you can run a master production schedule and as well a material requirement planning. Again, it's available under IBP. And from the distribution perspective, as well, the distribution requirement planning and distribution deployment is covered with IBP proposition. Okay. Of course, all this does not work if there is no demand. So you have noticed here the demand planning, which feeds the different process and even the business planning based on also a proposition from IBP and as well with our step-in proposition. Recently, last year, by the way, SAP introduced demand-driven proposition, so the DMRP proposition in IBP as well as a separate modules. Which is available for those of you willing to explore and even to run that domain. So that's as we can see here, IBP is mostly from the planning perspective, okay, and covers those process definitely. Now, IBP from the customer perspective, it's a software sold by SAP, of course. It comes with a number of features. It comes with full features, by the way, of course. And on top of that, at the Web Teamwork, we've created so-called a package, which allows faster implementation of IBP. This package has been certified and qualified by SAP itself as professional answers for those of you willing to implement IBP in a short period of time. So what do we get? What do we get into this step in? Here it's another presentation of IBP proposition, and with the purple color, we just show what is the part of our step-in proposition, which is a pre-configuration of the different modules available in IBP, like you can see, not in inventory yet, but for the others, we have already worked pre-configuration so that those process and modules can be implemented in a very short period of time. As well, from the integration perspective, integration being the module which allows IBP to suck data from external systems and to push data into external system at the end of the planning cycles. Okay. While I'm on these slides, just a couple words. IBP is a solution which is available in the cloud, SAP Cloud. So that's why there is a cloud behind. It's hosted in an HANA database environment, so providing very high performance in calculations. Okay. 2 user interface available, either on Excel, and we'll see that during the demo, and as well a web-oriented based on SAP Fiori proposition to access IBP features. On the left side here is shown are shown a couple external systems which feeds IBP with data or get result from IBP. And of course, there is no segregation here. It can be either ECC. Most of our customers are ECC or S4. Now it's coming, it's growing. It's a growing factor, but could be even external systems. And by the way, why not I've got an example here with Bacardi company sucking data out of an APO itself to complement, functionally speaking, answers and place back into APO the result of IBP. Sorry. So that's the complete IBP proposition, then complemented with step-in, which is our pre-configured as a global proposition. At the same time, with step-in, what do we propose? We, in fact, propose to save your time by implementation time, by the way, as everything is already almost go liveable, if I could say, okay? Inheriting of pre-configured solution being either on the master data, on the transactional data, on integration perspective, integration between the different environments, if I come back to that one. So integration between IBP itself and the external systems. Okay. With step-in, you benefit from our expertise, which again, as I said, we are active in SAP supply chain planning ecosystem since 2001. It's almost 20 years. And by the past, we used to create also a package with APO, and now we've gone the same way with IBP, so that the proposition that you get into step-in, you inherit of our full experience from the supply chain planning perspective. And at the same time, also, we do enrich the SAP very good proposition with further enhancements like advanced templates, which you will see in a minute. Step-in is not only a solution. I mean, it's not only a pre-configuration and a pre-configuration of SAP standard. Not only, it comes as well with a methodology. It comes with add-ons to go even further, like IBP advanced templates, and as well the configuration, as I said before. So it's a comprehensive proposition which allows our customer to really start quickly their IBP journey. Now, from the demo perspective, for today, this is a supply proposition, supply presentation. So in a typical supply process, here are the steps that supply chain planning goes through. So of course, it starts with master data. You have to have master data. That's the same like for MRP concept. Master data quality must be here in order to get to a really benefit of good results in the solutions. Then just after the master data, there is an initial resolved exceptions. Then we run the planning. In IBP supply, be aware that you have couple capabilities of running the planning. It can be either heuristics, Heuristics is a way to calculate planning infinitely, and then you resolve exceptions like capacity on the second in the second steps, or you can run even the optimizer, the planning optimizer. Then you would refine your production or your distribution, validate your plan, and then, by the way, of course, you prepare for the SNOP, like the supply review for SNOP. These are the typical process steps that we meet into supply planning. Now, let me get to the solution, to the demo, and show you, first of all, first of all, the web Fiori proposition from IBP. IBP, from the web perspective, is available only in Fiori. Here you have a representation of Fiori, so Fiori Launchpad, which is the new way to present the menu structure, the application structure of SAP solutions. Here, this is IBP. I've got here my homes, okay, with my favorite tiles. Each tile is an application, okay, and there is many more below, depending the different domains that I want to browse through. Is it collaboration, alerts, demand planner, and so on. So you see here the subject, which can be also repeated like here. Okay. From the web perspective and from the end user perspective in IBP, you go to the Fiori place whenever you have, for instance, requirements in analytics. So be aware that you have a full and extended options of analytics in IBP. So let me maybe start my presentation with dashboard. Because supply chain planning is always a matter of process and many data to be managed together. It's important to have that capabilities to review your business situation in the process by going through dashboards. Let me check, for instance, here the supply planning step in one of the dashboard that I can call from. Each of those dashboards takes about 2 or 3 minutes to be maintained or to be created. Oh, sorry, that's not the good one. Or is it just? Oh, here it is. I was too early, so let me select it again. So what do we see in this dashboard, which is now popping up? Yes, time to breathe and ask possibly questions in the chat if you have any things about that. So here it's an example of a dashboard which took me about 2 minutes this morning before the demo to create. So a dashboard is a composition of, as you can see here, a number of elements which are either process. So there is in SNOP, in IBP, the capabilities to define process flow that you want to go through according to a number of processes. Here, for instance, I'm in supply planning. This is my supply planning dashboard. I can add one to many, of course. And then for this process, I intend to go through a supply parameter period. Then I will go to heuristics for running the planning, then analyze my capacity, rough cut capacity planning, then go deployment, whatever. This is fully flexible, and you define your own process template according to your internal process, your company process, definitely. Each activity may get a number of stakeholders, okay? And then this kind of representation shows you where you are and what's the progress level of this process so far since the beginning of the process, which here is step in supply planning for June 2020. Not much progress in this example, but because it's just a demo system. But yes, it will go through progression, and every steps will progress according to actions from each individual stakeholders. In such a dashboard, you can also add a couple of things like available capacity. Why not by locations, by site? I want to have a broad view of my capacity, and even if I want to dig into that one, and then say, by the way, so sorry, I've switched it. By the way, for this one, I want close. I want to dig into it. Yeah, like here in a full screen, and even further, I could even navigate and get the details. For instance, in Antwerpen, currently my available capacity is that much, It's and you can compose those analytics. Each of these analytics takes about, again, 2, 3, 5 minutes to be done. Okay, so the important is our pre-configuration. Our pre-configurations allows you to pick up any dimensions like locations, like regions, like customers, like resource production, transportation, and things like that, and as well any of those key figures which are, for instance, here, production capacity, minimum capacity, inventory evolutions, and so on. So this is the typical dashboard, which helps understanding where the process here is so far and what are the figures attached to this process. And there can be one too many, of course, of those dashboards. Of course, you can access analytics individually, like here. And if I go, for instance, with one of the stepping capacity requirement display, like here, and I see that I've got a capacity requirement fairly. 2 words about the analytics. As you can see, it's thinking a little bit. The system is not necessarily very quick here today. This is real-time analytics capabilities in IBP. So it's not anymore a matter of preparing data like in BW, in the previous BW systems. Database is explored dynamically by the reporting analytics tool here. So okay, at the same time, on the web part, you can go even deeper in process analysis. For instance, if I want to check my different process, which as Daniel I'm involved in. These are, for instance, the process I'm involved. And there is, for instance, the new product introduction, says supply planning in June. If I get this one to be displayed in more detail than in the dashboard, you see that this is a sequence of a sequence of steps which may take 1 to many days each. Then with the different steps, and for each steps, like rough cut capacity planning, you may also have couple tasks which are assigned to stakeholders belonging to that, involved in the supply planning. And that brings me to the collaboration part. So collaboration is completely embedded with the Fiori part of IBP as well as the Excel, and is fed by the different activities of users and open process like we've seen. Collaboration is here. Okay, let me compare that not as a negative comparison, just to give you a good comparison. This is a professional kind of Facebook SAP social media. So in other words, there is a number of features like group, pools, agenda, task, all this. You can see here, if I want to see all my groups where I'm involved in demand supply planning, and then within that I can have blogs, I can have a task, and all this is fed by the solution itself in real time. So that's the very interesting point of that component, which is part of the web side of IBP. Okay. And of course, in this web part, there is many other capabilities like alerts and so on. But let me now switch for the demo purpose to Excel. And during that demo purpose, I will follow kind of a process. So here I'm on my desktop, and we will follow that process. Okay, just to visit a little bit of supply planning. What do we have in the box of IBP in the supply planning process? Again, of course, with IBP and STEP-IN, you can cover fully an SNOP planning and a demand planning and a supply planning, and as well a DDMRP, which is not represented here. Okay, so for that, I open my Excel. So whenever you run IBP, any modules of IBP, you get equipped with a ribbon, an IBP ribbon in your Excel. Okay, out of that, then you need to connect your systems, log on to your IBP system. And here I'm connecting a special environment, which is the one we will use to do the supply in our demo. Okay, so by connecting, the system opens a couple more buttons, which helps the user to, in fact, interact with the solutions. So the ribbon interact with the working place here, which is the grid itself. Users, they call for planning view in order to represent what is to be done at certain point of time. So let's check that. If I go in the different proposition, the different screens that we propose in our pre-configuration, you see there is, of course, there is an SNOP proposition. That's not our demo for today. I'm going to focus on supply. In supply, there is special screens to manage your supply and see the planning situation of products, whatever other elements. Then dig into receipt or requirement specifically elements. Then you can maintain your resource master data, do capacity leveling, deployment, and I will go through these steps one by one quite quickly because of time. Okay, it's a 1 hour demo only, but just to see, just to visit the solution. So again, so how do we do that? First, the user select a planning view to represent, for instance, here, I want to see the supply perspective. Okay, so in a planning view, quickly said, there is time dimension. They can be anything like weeks, months, quarter, years. It can even be down to the day if required. Then, according to the view, we need to define which level we want to work out of a long list of dimensions. So as you can see, this is our pre-configuration, and within this list there is location and product, for instance, for supply, but it can be anything like regions, countries, brands, and so on. Then for each view, we mention the key figures, which are the data, the actual data we want to manage in a view. Sorry for this presentation, it's going to be a then after the same for each views. Just I take 30 seconds to explain the content of that. So there is a long list again of key figures, which are the data that we manipulate in IBP in terms of planning, demand planning, supply planning, SNOP. And for the supply planning, and particularly for the supply view, I need those one. Okay, then there is a layout perspective and as well a filtering. Filtering is very important in order when you select it, that you don't get the full database in your Excel, which you could, by the way, do with the limit of 1 million lines, of course, which, okay. And here, with the filter, I'm here currently focusing on a number of locations and product. Oh, okay, now we are in the supply view out of advanced template from StepIn. Advanced template is the capabilities to quickly set up such screens where, for instance, in supply, I want to have a demand section for in that location for this product. I want to know a bit aggregated figures about demand, aggregated figure about supply, okay, receipts. And in that case, because a product can be produced, procured, or transported, there is 6 rows, but it could be much thinner if required, okay. And then the stock policy sections, which shows you about your stock projection, okay, your stock your coverage projection, and as well your main element, main input in terms of stock policy, which are inventory target or target covers, which you want the system to follow when you do the planning, okay. And then by browsing from a product in a location to another one, like here, you see the graphics self-adapt to the section that's here for the product, this product in this location, for instance, okay. What can we do from here? First, already we can navigate through the different dimensions. If I want to know a bit further about the product, which family is it, for instance, I can right click here and say, by the way, get me here the sales family, why not? The sales family of this product. And then automatically I get an additional column. This is real-time extracted from IBP in the web, okay, in the cloud. And like you see, this product IBP 100 belongs to the family HDPE. Why not? Okay, it's a name. If I don't want to see that one anymore, just delete it. Okay. It's not because we are in supply planning that I cannot even go a level up in aggregation. Let's say, for instance, I don't want to see the product anymore in my view. Now I have an aggregated by location of all figures, everything. You see the location, and by the way, as it is aggregated, you may wonder, okay, what kind of product is currently made receipt? So made, exactly made here. as a production for this period in this location. So you can also say right click, drill down by attribute, and please give me the product which are currently proposed by the systems in this period. And as you can see, now there is a breakdown, and it shows you that that's the product IBP 100 and 110 and so on. So it's fairly easy to navigate through data. And if you are happy with this and then you want to go back, you say just drill down back, and I go back to where I was just before, which was the location aggregated. So by just those capabilities of aggregating, disaggregating, you also already see quite a strength in proposing, for instance, SNOP features, aggregation SNOP, but as well aggregation in supply where it is required. Huh? Okay, so let me place back again the product just for readability purpose. Okay. Now, what else can we do in such a display, which is, by the way, here in supply planning, I want to have a better view of my planning of a product in a location, for instance. Okay, I could remove, by the way, the locations. So again, the demand, I see that I've got dependent demand coming probably from other downstreams locations. For instance, this is a factory delivering a number of DCs, distribution centers. So that's why I have an inherited demand. But I could also have a distribution, a consensus demand plan, independent demand, with a forecast attached to the location itself. And then again for the supply. So now, whenever anything change, like let me simulate that I've got 670 of demand and here 2500 of demand locally here. If I want to have the consequence of such a maintenance here, first you see that it's in blue because it has been changed since the last read from the database. I can save data, okay, but not yet. Let me first run a simulation. That's the second topic in IBP. You have capabilities of simulation depending which domains you are, demand planning, supply planning, or whatever. So if I am in supply planning, I want to run a so-called heuristics. In that case, I am currently triggering a recalculation of my displayed product locations of that screen in real time from the web, from the IBP database, and the system will return the corresponding supply plan to cover that new quantities. You may have noticed that I have not saved yet the results, but still the system is providing me already an answer saying, okay, if you want 2,500, you need to produce 3,000 because of roundings or whatever. Of course, there is a number of master data which drives the calculation. Okay, and at this point, for instance, you may say, I want to save for good. In such case, I would save here and then say change demand for IBP 100 in 1010. Please check capacity consequences, and I want to share that with supply planning group, with demand planning group, with any groups you will create and which is in SAPJAM. So that's one illustration of the integration between the collaboration elements of IBP and the tool itself. So if I go now SAPJAM again, so using a different navigation, like here, collaboration, I expect to have now a message in the supply planning group saying the stakeholder of supply planning group. I'm expecting in supply planning group as a member of it, made a change, edit IBP 100, okay, 100. So please see a consequence, and that's from using this way of manipulating data and communicating that we integrate different actors, stakeholders of all of the process happening in IBP. So that was an illustration of this collaboration. Now I can do further simulation like now. Well, by the way, it's not to 500, but it's 280 to 800. But I don't want to save. I want to run the planning again quickly. so that the 3000 should normally change to something else. Okay, no, it's 300 for any reason. Okay, because I've increased the quantity, by the way. Now, I don't want to save that, but I would like to save it. That's difficult to be done. Not exactly. In IBP, you can create a scenario. A scenario is a kind of a saved apart the active data. You can create on-the-fly scenario, which are part of the what-if features that I was describing before. If I do that, create a scenario, demo 01, for instance, increase of demand, okay, and increase of demand IBP 100, the product IBP 100 in 1010. Okay. And I want to share that with named users, or again, groups, okay, groups. And there is even many more groups here, but I can do that. For instance, maybe not this one, but whatever, okay. Now, see what's happening on the screen. Now there is a scenario columns popping up. So just the time for refresh. Here it is. Now we've got the scenario demo 001. So my data are saved apart in a scenario, not in the baseline, in the base version of my data, which allows me doing a couple of those simulations, and of course explore the consequence on capacity, which we will see in a moment. Okay, at the same time. So it's very, very very easy to set up. Okay, and that's on from really a snap of a finger. You can create that and use them without any consequence on the active data. So maybe you had not noticed, but when I was editing the view before, when I opened that, there was the capabilities, okay, to define the times, attributes, key figures, but as well you can pick up the scenario and the versions. So if I check here, you see, for instance, now it has automatically switched to demo 1, but I can also do comparison between scenario, like here. If I want to do comparison between 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever scenario, in the same screen, look what's happening here. Now each key figures we will doubled up, showing me the two scenarios, baseline, and my demo 001, so that I see that there is a difference on this one. For adjusted demand, there is a difference between the scenarios demo 001 and baseline. And from this, you can imagine any features, any requirements, business requirements for simulation and taking hypotheses in supply chain planning. Let's go a bit quicker now. Let's leave this supply view. As I said before, there is a couple other views that we have available, like receipt view, requirement view. Let me focus on the receipt view. At the bottom of receipt view, as you can see, there is 3 subsheets. Let me just open it. So you don't need to manipulate any data in the pop-up, the window pop-up. You can just accept, and it comes with the data. Again, real-time display from the database itself with the last refreshed data from any user actions, for any other user action. So in this specific view that we have created in StepIn, you see a production focus, a transport focus, and a supplier focus, just because product can be produced, transport, or procured, or even the 3 together. So you can see here that there is a product. So for this product in these locations, I've got a mini planning situation, and I'm currently producing this product with this recipe, with this so-called source ID in IBP. And you can have one recipe, or like this one, IBP2, may be produced over 2 recipes, maybe because of 2 production line being different. And then that's what IBP takes into consideration during the planning. Again, the planning does not depend on the screen where you are. It depends on the system you are connected. And here I can run the planning, although I don't see all information related to the planning. So it's the calculation itself is done on the database with the full view, with the extended view on data. So the same for transport receipt, for instance. I may have a product which is imported from, for instance, 1710 for this product. when I procure to replenish the 1710 location, it's coming from 1010, 1010, 1010, and there may be some product which have many sources, multiple source. Here, like here, this is an example. So this product, IBP 200, is multi-source from 1010 and 1710 whenever you are on the distribution center 1720. And of course, again, quotas applies in the planning so that you can distribute quantities from the source. And the same for supplier view, with one product being replenished from different supplier. Okay, like here, this one is replenished from a supplier. They can be replenished from several suppliers to different locations. So these are the many presentations that we have created in IBP Supply, so to help our customers to really run their own supply planning process. Let's progress furthermore. Now, we've seen supply and then this one. So let me skip this one and resource master data, which is fairly easy. And I will go now, whenever we run planning, we need quite often to do capacity leveling. So for that, I will show you a different one. It's an RCCP simulation, which is features within our proposition, which helps you running capacity leveling either at a very aggregated level, like it is here shown, regardless of products, because I want to do that roughly, like here, see, for a location. Then according to the last calculation, there is a production requirement expressed. Here it's by resource, and I have a production requirement, which I want to compare with my capacity available, being current capacity, maximum capacity, standard capacity. Okay, and that's that according to the last heuristics. So you see, for instance, this one has some capacity requirements. That's the heuristics result, and then I can compare to my capacity available, which are the dotted line. Okay, not only that, but with StepIn, we also propose leveling capabilities according to even further buttons here in this specific ribbon, RCCP. In that one, for instance, you can say, I want in this resource here, I want to simulate a capacity leveling considering backward-forward methodology. Infinitely gives me, okay, infinitely, that means whatever is required, I give it to you independently of the capacity. Okay, is there any other example which is more? No, okay, so let's focus on this one. Okay, now I can also say I want a finite capacity, and then if I go capacity leveling it by even no excess of inventory. Okay, then you see max capacity, or let's say for the earliest date. You see, for instance, I'm asking over this green horizon, which I can define very flexibly by saying, okay, I want to do my capacity leveling over this horizon. It's just matter, you mark the periods you want to work against. Okay, even with this one, let's add it as well. Okay, and now if I do the capacity leveling, like here, run the capacity leveling, then the system calculates a capacity leveling and tells me, oh, there is a, oh, sorry, I'm switching from a resource to another. Let's get back to this assembly. Okay, I see here that I can at the earliest, considering the max capacity, everything which was planned in my last heuristics could be done, so that's fine. If I consider the current capacity, now it's tighter. Okay, it's definitely tighter, and so on and so forth. So you have a number of available features to do simulation in capacity. It can be either here like a rough cut capacity planning. We also propose color-coded or mini campaign management, so-called planning wheels capabilities in this domain of capacity leveling. It can be done by the resource itself and even by the resource and the product by priority or whatever. So, and of course, at any point of time, if you are happy with the results, let me close those ones. If you are happy with the results, you can either create a new scenario or save the results, of course. Now, let's go even further because we are getting to the end of the presentations. I want to show you now some further capabilities. Safety stock. As I said, as an introductory point, there is a lot of master data behind the scene of a supply planning. So, and one of these master data is safety stock. So in safety stock, it's important that you are able to calculate this safety stock, either running IBP for inventory with a very extended and advanced capabilities, or here in Stepin we propose a basic capabilities to calculate safety stock according to a number of algorithms, which is here, and then which are described here in the information. And by running that, by the way, for instance, basics, I want to calculate the safety stock. I see my safety stocks here. Okay, it can be advanced, it can be average, mean add, and so on. So it can be a ghost demand. This is explained in the different okay, ghost lead time. Okay, it's not so much reacting. This is one of the master data that you can calculate. It calculates the safety stock, and then you can accept that safety stock as a new target value for heuristics to run. So when I'm back in IBP here, and I can run now my heuristics considering this new safety stock, which I calculated here, one by one, or even globally, if I select all my selected ones, or like here, I'm selecting that product in a location and that other product in a location, but just mentioning, marking the zone, and I say, please calculate the basic one and accept. And see it's calculating. Now from here, if I save in IBP, I'm saving the new calculated safety stock, which is one of the targeted parameters that the supply heuristics will follow. Today, I'm not mentioning much the optimizer, but in a supply, you have the capabilities, of course, to run optimizer, which is even a step further in the quality of planning result that you can get out of IBP. Of course, it's slightly more complex to implement, but that's that's the best in class, I would say, system answers in terms of planning. Last but not least, time is really flying. Last but not least, let's go with deployment. Deployment is another feature that we propose in IBP supply, in Stepin for supply. What is that element? It's a calculation step, which from a product perspective, from a ship from locations perspective, say for instance, a factory, that factory delivers distribution centers. Each of those distribution centers or sub-factories, whatever location, may have a requirement, a particular requirement, inventory, and so on. And what you want to do is to, out of an available quantity available on the source, on the factory, you want to distribute your quantities following a number of fair share algorithm, which can be pro rata, priority, or fulfillment of target stock. That is again a proposition from the WAP teamwork to allow you calculating that step. Like here, I'm selecting a product and I want to do a pro rata selection, pro rata distribution of these quantity which are available at source. Or say, for instance, for simulation purpose, I expect to have 5,000 in production to be delivered today and nothing else for the future. Okay, what if I do a pro rata distribution of this out of the requirements, and if I go with deploying for a longer horizon, if I do the deployment for even a longer horizon, let me even deploy for this one. Okay, oh, sorry. Let's select them all. Yeah, like here. And if I run the pro rata, you see the numbers have been calculated. I have a proposition for deployments from this factory to these ones, and sorry, to this location or to this location. Here is my proposition pro rata. Here is my proposition if I'm considering priorities. And now here is my proposition if I'm calculating according to a fulfillment of target stock. Okay. And not only that, but I can also say I'm in push or pull mode. Push means I don't keep anything at the factory, at the source. I want to push everything as soon as possible, for instance, like here. And you see the 5,000 has all been pushed to one of the location. Why? Because the other were already fulfilled in terms of inventory projection. So this is this is a features as well proposed in our step in for supply, which helps finalizing the distribution plan once you've run the heuristic, calculated everything, and get the result out of IBP. And as you can see, there is a couple other views like network overview, inventory overview. Okay, as the last presentation, I will use the network overview. That network overview is a way for you to get a sense of, from a location to another location, which location am I distributing or am I receiving from? So that's to as well show you some other capabilities of IBP, where in fact I'm not anymore showing in list like this, but here in matrix. Like you see, for this product, for this location, I'm distributing to these location for week 26, to these location for weeks 27. It's very useful if you want to know, okay, 1310 is nothing happening. Okay, let me take this example. For this product, this location is currently receiving, it's a receipt, is currently receiving from location 1010. And will receive 300 and so on. And if you are in multi-sourcing, you will receive for a week possibly from different source of supply. There is not such an example here. I see that it's always mono-sourcing. That's one way to see the receipt view, and the other way around, if I am a producer, if I am a factory or whatever upstream distribution center, I am interested in, for a product from a location, which location am I distributing to, which is my requirement. And you see my different requirement, for instance, that one vendor is delivering this 1010 location in week 26 for 714 and so on. So it's very useful, very useful. The time to create such a display, not so much. Couple minutes if you are a consultant. So that's the flexibility of IBP and the very high level of agility of IBP to close some of the, we say, user requirement gaps whenever they arise. Okay, now I'm finished with the presentation. Sorry, it was quick. It was dense, of course. We've got 5 minutes left to go over the questions if there is any. So let me check that with you. And of course, and obviously, we are happy. Sharing more, even individually with each of you. Last words about the presentation is a typical implementation timelines of IBP, say supply or demand or SNOP. It's about 3 to 6 months implementation. So technically speaking, it's nothing. Technically speaking, it's about a month or two to set up everything, and then the rest is a project elements like training, data load, and things like that. So it's very, very short implementation based on step-in propositions. We do use Scrum methodology to implement our solution, okay, IBP, through our solutions for such a project. Okay, now question. Hi, Vincent. I'm not Vincent, but that's fine. Vincent is as well watching the questions. Can we define custom key figures? Definitely yes. So IBP step-in proposition comes with a set of key figures and attributes. Attributes means the dimension, product, location, resource, countries, brand, family, whatever. So comes with a proposition, an initial proposition, and as you can see here, there is an explore phase where we do definitely do with you a fit gap comparison between the step-in proposition and your own requirements. And if out of this analysis there is new requirements as new dimensions or new key figures, we do add them. And for instance, with the customers we have, there is some of those they don't want, we just discard them from the proposition in order to clean up the solution for end users. Miloš is asking, What is the difference between DRP and deployment? DRP in our proposition is carried out during the heuristics. Heuristics calculates requirements from the destination, so from the customer's perspective, and goes into the supply network up to the very first source. So in your case, Milos, so that's the distribution of the watches in Europe, okay, and then the requirement from these watches in Europe, according to the different distribution centers of Europe, they will propagate requirement to your manufacturer, okay. That's the DRP calculation propagation, and that's on one end. And the deployment is once you have done the production plan. So can you fulfill the requirement which was requested by your different distribution centers? That's the question of deployment. And if not, because you are either late or you have too many that you want to push to the distribution centers because you are not selling anything from the factory, from the manufacturer, then you use deployment to deploy your goods to the destinations. To destination being, again, sub-factories or distribution center, downstream distribution center, and possibly even customers if you have a collaborative network. GB is asking, can we compute profit from a simulation? Definitely yes. The subject was more supply today, but as you've seen in the solution, have you seen in the solution, sorry, here on the screen, there is a full S&OP section with a financial review. And in this financial review, I'm not commenting the screen, but just to show you, in this one, real time, based on the simulation we've done, even in supply, you would get what you're after. You would get that kind of answers. And if I go to the P&L, for instance, that P&L here, it's presented by family and by locations, by site. You would get here the margin, the variance, the comparison between budget and actuals or planned, and the margin, the inventory value. All this is calculated on the fly. And by the way, there may be here things which have changed because of my demo 5 minutes ago. Okay, these are the questions. So we are getting to the end of the presentation. I'm happy spending more time with you. It's even not a spend, it's an investment to you and to us as well. Feel free asking questions. Okay, from the contact perspective, so you may have your local contact. Milos asking another question. How IBP software paid for? One-time license, or is it per usage? Neither one or the other. This is based on a cloud SaaS model, software as a service, and you pay a monthly fee to use IBP, and as well as it is in the cloud, to pay at the same time the license part and as well the machine part. By the way, this is maintained by SAP, very good performance, and really you can rely on the I would say the IT, the box, the hardware maintenance and performance perspective. So you pay a monthly fee, paid once a year, but for a monthly proposition, and you have to subscribe. Depending, you have to discuss that with SAP. You can subscribe 1 to many years, depending. Do you have any user limitation? Is asking someone else. Once you subscribed with IBP and SAP, you don't have any user limitation. So you pay by a certain matrix given by SAP, and once you have that, then you can use IBP freely from 1 to hundreds of users. And our customers are a lot using that because it becomes a central supply chain tool. So there is many users by users. Peter is asking, is it flexible to add custom fields and logic into
package. Yes. Today I cannot show you that, but specifically with a specific presentation to you, we can show you that in IBP. On the web part, there is a full set of configuration, and with not say couple click, but say an hour or two, we can add new fields, new key figures, and activate them in your models so that you can later use them as new lines in your different so-called templates here. Not only that, but even the user can add local key figures, so-called local key figures. In such case, they remain into your favorites, for instance, MyKif. And that MyKif has a special formula, that plus that. See what's happening here? The system is analyzing that, oops, you introduced a formula within a block. And by the way, because you did that, it is currently understanding this is a new local key figure, meaning it's not going to the database itself, it's MyKif. The formula is now running, you see. And by the way, MyKif is here and here. And what you can do out of this local introduction of your own key figure, you create a favorite. And that's my favorite, so the Peter favorite, because Peter was asking. Peter favorite, and now I have a favorite which includes a local calculations into a proposed display. And not only that, but this favorite you can share with your colleagues and your service. GB, how are flexible costs allocated given transportation cost, production cost? Very flexible. This is part of the design that we propose, and additional design we can do for you. Very flexible. It's a matter of key figures that we do, and whatever data we collect from ECC or SAP, depending your ERP systems. Like we have in Ireland, the customers, Glendimplex, just to say, home appliance, a big customer. They do calculate production cost. They do use production cost coming from S4. With a variable cost, fixed cost, labor cost, material cost, but as well transportation cost and procurement cost. And out of that, they can do a margin calculation based on the difference between production cost and unit selling price, or procurement cost and unit selling price, or intercompany cost and unit selling price. These are elements we do introduce with your helps during with your requirements during a project. Or warehouse cost, GB, yes, definitely. Yeah, yes, it's a matter of design. It's a matter of design, adding the relevant key figures and dimension. Milo, she's asking, can you do a push or pull strategy per product, or is it per DC only? Pull push is under your end. So in deployments, it's stock optimization, I mean safety stock here. It's your decision. It's your decision whenever you are deploying. Okay. It's your decision, and you can save that decision for next runs. It's very, very flexible. And if it is to be saved by product, even we could do that, of course. Like the same way we've introduced a product priority in order to enable a deployment priority, like here. Okay, deployment by priority. You see that priority 1 are delivered first before the priority 2 and 3 and so on. So we could introduce things like an algorithm, a decision of deploying goods, depending the product and the locations, definitely. Hope this answers. Okay, any further question? So far not. Have I missed a couple questions? GB. Okay. Hope you have also answered the polls. It helps us to improve our proposition, our webinar proposition. We do regularly, we provide regular webinars. That's the 3rd of the year here currently, out of, I think it's about the 20th webinar we've given in IBP since the 3-4 years. So please answer the polls. It helps us, and it may help as well us to better answer your your request and your requirements. Oh, another question. Sorry. Where it is? I'm lost with. Yeah. Can we store data on IBP for 5 years and even more? We have a customers in France, in Lyon, in automotive domain. They do save their procurement cost over the last 10 years because it's automotive. It's very thin margin, very constrained margin, I would say. And then they really need to challenge their supplier. So they need the previous cost and then analyze further in the future or in the past. It's a matter of design again. With an IBP implementation, you can get up to 6 terabytes of memory space in SAP Cloud. 6 terabytes is huge. None of our customers is currently reaching this limit. I am curious how many companies have implemented adaptive SNOP like used in DDMRP. Milos frankly said DDMRP is a new domain. It's I would say a new domain from the business perspective, from the process perspective. It was born. It has been designed in 2011 by Carol Ptak. Now has got supported by SAP since last year, May. So it's fairly new. So we're happy because we are certified in DDMRP. We are happy running project in DDMRP domain. But frankly said, there is not so many customers asking for that yet. We do hope it will happen. So we do our best doing that. Next webinar, by the way, will likely be the DDMRP sections in this domain in August. We think August. Why August? Because with the coronavirus, I think there will be many customers active in August still. So we will provide you a webinar at that time. And SNOP Adaptive is a new delivery from the very recent delivery of DDMRP in IBP. So DDMRP is available since a year, and SNOP Adaptive is available from next. Is it next or current delivery? Meaning May 20, or next is August 20. Okay. Any further questions? So we have still many people on the webinar. Thanks to you all. Of course, it's very pleasant to share with many of you. No worries, Peter. You're welcome. Doing as well. Okay, see. You're welcome, Dong. So if there is no more questions, let me wish you a nice day for today and a nice summer, upcoming summer. Yesterday was a summer day. And if you have any questions, any things you wish to dig into with us, feel free contacting us. So you can contact Vincent by phone, by mail, of course, and Vincent or me as well, of course, and we will answer with a pleasure all of your questions in IBP. Oh, another question or not? You're welcome, GB. Okay, so I will terminate now the webinar to this point and wish you a good day. Bye now.